When we talk about cultures, one of the most fascinating distinctions is between high context and low context cultures. High context cultures rely heavily on implicit communication, where much of the meaning is derived from the context, nonverbal cues, and shared experiences. Think of countries like Japan, China, and many Middle Eastern nations. In these cultures, a simple nod or a pause can convey a wealth of information. For instance, in a Japanese business meeting, silence might indicate deep thought or disagreement, while in the US, we might interpret it as awkwardness. On the flip side, low-context cultures, such as the United States, Germany, and Scandinavia, prioritize explicit communication. Here, clarity and directness are key. If someone says, "I disagree," they mean exactly that, no hidden meanings. In a negotiation, a low-context negotiator might lay all their cards on the table, outlining their terms clearly and expecting the same in return. Now, let's consider how these cultural styles impact negotiation. In a high-context culture, building relationships is crucial. A negotiator might spend time getting to know their counterpart, engaging in small talk, and establishing trust before discussing business. They might use indirect language, relying on shared understanding to navigate the conversation. If a high-context negotiator feels disrespected, they might withdraw or express their displeasure subtly, rather than confronting the issue head-on. In contrast, a low-context negotiator would likely approach the situation differently. They might address any disrespect directly, seeking clarity and resolution immediately. Their focus is on the facts and the deal at hand, rather than the relational dynamics. If they sense tension, they might suggest a break or a change in strategy, emphasizing transparency. Consider a scenario where both types negotiate a contract. The high-context negotiator might suggest a dinner meeting to foster rapport, while the low-context negotiator would prefer a straightforward discussion over coffee, focusing on the contract details. If misunderstandings arise, the high-context negotiator may feel uncomfortable voicing their concerns, while the low-context negotiator would likely push for an immediate clarification. In everyday interactions, these differences manifest in various ways. High-context individuals might rely on gestures or shared experiences to communicate, while low-context individuals might prefer explicit instructions. This can lead to misunderstandings, especially in multicultural settings. For example, if a high-context person says, "We'll see," it might mean no, while a low-context person would take it at face value, believing there's still hope. Understanding these cultural nuances is essential, especially in our increasingly globalized world. By recognizing whether we're dealing with high-context or low-context cultures, we can adapt our communication styles, foster better relationships, and navigate negotiations more effectively. It's all about bridging the gap and finding common ground, ensuring that our messages are received as intended.